What's up, mamas? I'm Rebecca. You're watching the Reseller Mom Show. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Reseller Momversations. This is episode 20. I'm so excited that we've had 20 moms that are resellers on the show so far, and I just can't wait to have more and more conversations. And today's episode is with Kristin. Kristin is on Instagram at Kristins_closet with a K87. And we are going to chat with her today about all things a reseller mom. So welcome, Kristin. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, absolutely. I'm happy. I had a little break of the Reseller Momversations over the holidays, but now I'm starting to record them ahead, so we shouldn't have too much of a break in the schedule. I love chatting with other reseller moms. It makes this all a lot less lonely.
You're not alone.
No, not alone. I appreciate chatting with you, and I'll let you kind of first introduce yourself, who you are, where you are, what's your mom-kid situation, what's your reseller platform situation, and then we'll see what we want to chat about.
Okay, so I'm Kristin, and my Instagram is Kristins_closet87, and right now my Poshmark is Trent's Mom 12. I started Poshmark buying off Poshmark before I wanted to even knew I wanted to sell. So that's why my closet is Trent's Mom 12, because
you weren't planning to be a business or anything.
No, I worked in the medical field for over 10 years, and my fiance is gone a lot, but he works for the government, so he's gone a lot. Mm-hmm. And I said he was going to be gone for 5 weeks, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I mean, we're like my kids, they stay with my parents or, my brother, my sister-in-law, but I was like, I really want to see my kids, and I'm never going to see my kids, especially with him being gone, because by the time I got off work, it was 5:30, 6 o'clock. By the time I got home, homework, go to bed, I never got to see my kids. So my fiance actually does like Nintendo selling stuff. So he got into it first, and he said, Kristin, you could do this with your clothes. And I'm like, no. So I stayed, and I continued staying, and the door just kind of opened up for me to leave and start doing this. And I've been doing it I think I've been doing it right now a year.
Okay.
And so I'm new, but.
Well, and I saw that because you have like 30-something thousand followers on Poshmark, because I just wanted to check it out first. You have some really nice things, but then you had like about 600 listings. So I was like, it seems like you're doing it as a business, but maybe kind of newish to it. So okay, Go ahead.
And so it just kind of opened up, and I started with Poshmark and Mercari, and I just started on eBay.
Great! You took my spot then. You can have my spot for a little while. Well,
eBay just kind of, I know this sounds crazy, but it just kind of scared me a little bit. I don't know. There's just something about eBay that I was like, I don't know if I want to get into that.
It's very involved. I mean, when you're used to Poshmark and Mercari, it's very involved in comparison. If you start there, the people that started on eBay, they're like, oh, Poshmark, okay, you got to share. That's ridiculous. But as far as listing, they're like, I could do that in 2 seconds with my eyes closed. But for those that start there where it's so easy and user-friendly to go to eBay, where there are so many moving pieces, it is.
Yes. And I just started eBay just like this week.
Okay. Do you have a store, or do you just started with like the basic not store account?
Yeah, I started with basic not store account because I just kind of wanted to see how it would go.
Right.
But I mean, I still haven't sold anything on eBay.
It's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. But I mean, it really wasn't as scary as I thought.
Good.
So
good. It's just, but the listing process, were you like, oh my God, this is going to take me for forever?
Yeah. And the thing was, I had already like deleted photos out of my phone. So I had to go back to Poshmark, screenshot them, and repost them. And I was like, I should have just started this a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
are you interested in any of the cross-posting software at all to help make it a little bit easier?
I've looked into it. I'll be honest, I haven't looked into it a lot, and it's something that I'm interested in because I feel like it would really help me a lot, just to be able to make it so much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in a crossroads because I use a VA, and I've been using a VA before any of these softwares have come out. And so I'm like, do I really want to go and take it to a software? I'm sure it would save me money, but I'm not like, then I'm still doing it because then I have to sit there and do the button clicking.
You like a VA?
I have a VA. And that's what I was going to say to you. Perhaps one or the other might be helpful. Like a VA, if you want a VA to do more things for you, getting started with a VA might be good. But also a VA, you do have to possibly train them if they haven't done it before. And if you're still new to it, it would be harder for you to train them. Whereas the software, it knows what to do. All you have to do is give it the info. And you don't necessarily want to outsource it probably just yet. You want to get a feel for it first. I think that was my mistake with eBay. My sister was doing it with me. So I handled Poshmark and she handled eBay. So I never really learned it. Like once she left and we parted ways, then I hired the VA to do it. So I've never really eBayed.
Okay.
So I'm taking a break. We've broken up, but we'll probably get back together later on in the year.
One of those.
Because once you get all the sales, like, I mean, I used to have 5 to 10 sales just on eBay a day, which was nice. So
That is nice.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely get in there, and you can't break anything. You can't hurt anything. You'll learn some, figure it out. Learn some.
I figure I might as well jump in.
Yeah.
To do it.
That's great. Awesome. So, okay. So Poshmark and Mercari, now eBay, and your son?
I have 2 sons, 2 boys.
Okay.
Trent is 12 and Gabe is 6.
Okay.
Trent is actually homeschooled by my dad. I don't have the patience personally.
But was your dad a teacher?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad was a teacher. And so he does Trent. Now, Gabe, he's a totally different animal. He has to go to school. Like he's free-spirited, ready to go. He's got to go to school. Yeah. So, but, and I live in Alabama. It's a little town called Tallahassee, Alabama, and it's near Montgomery.
Okay.
But being here, I don't see a lot of, I don't meet a lot of resellers here. I don't even know hardly any resellers here.
Right.
It's really cool. So anybody,
good.
yeah.
I mean, it's good. Well, it's good and bad. I guess.
It's good for inventory stuff.
Right.
Nobody really, they just go in and buy it. Like there's a bunch of people here only want to buy retail, like full price things.
Right.
So when I started, even my mom's closet is full of stuff now because when I go shopping, I buy stuff for her because I see stuff for her and she's like, I can't believe you paid this price. I was like,
when it's still new, it's like mind blowing. And now the opposite thing, I don't know, you said you've been doing it about a year, but like now it's like you go into a store and you're like, you want how much? Like, are you kidding? Like, there's no, like, I'm sick. Like, I'm physically sick to my stomach that you want $24 for this whatever. Yeah. When I know if I go on Tuesday to the bins, I will find it.
That is me. I tell people all the time. I told Eric the other day, we went into a store and I really like these pair of shoes. I said, you know what? In a couple weeks, I'm going to see them in one of the stores I go into. I'm waiting.
When you have the kids, if you're always constantly looking for the next shoe size or the next, couple of sizes up, like I have a too big bin for Gio where it's like, I don't want to hold on to stuff for forever, but if it's within the next year or two and it's a decent thing, I'll get it and save it for him. But yeah, I tell my husband all the time, like, you don't even know how much I've saved on clothes and shoes.
What Eric started me out, actually, he was doing a class in Atlanta. And he's like, Kristin, you got to come to the Goodwills here. And I'm like, I'm not going.
It's good there.
Yes. I was like, I'm not going to Goodwill. Like, are you serious? And he was like, just try it. Just try it. And I walked in there. I mean, I walked out with a huge bag full of clothes. For me, I had no idea about selling. I just wanted them for me. And so ever since, I was like, I will never pay full retail again for anything. Mm-hmm. Anything. I mean, obviously some things, but
the thing is, there's so many ways not to, even without thrifting. If you get grossed out by thrift, if you're not, like, you could just use a coupon. You could use a coupon code. You can go on a sale. Like, there's so many ways to not pay full price, but the problem is everything is so, life is so crazy. You don't always think about things till the last minute. And what you really need is time. When you're trying to save, you need time. You can't have it quick and cheap at the same time. They're opposite. So, like when I used to, before Geo, and I used to do extreme coupon, like the show Extreme, like with the
Oh,
wall full of,
cool.
yeah, like, I mean, I was not, you know, it would have been cool if I was on the show, but like it didn't last very long. But I loved that show. But yeah, I mean, with the giant stockpile, I had toothpaste for years. I mean, we're still using this toothpaste. Like we're down to 2 flosses left from like Gio's 4. I stopped couponing when Gio was born, so it's from before then. So I had a 4-year, you know, stockpile of that. But like, it's great, but it took a lot of time. And that's why when Gio came, I tried to keep doing it, but I was like, there's no way I can have this child in the cart and try to count out and make sure my coupons are right. And does it, like, it was too crazy. So I stopped. But.
Well, I've gotten so bad that even there's a little store here near in Auburn. It's called Dirt Cheap, and literally they sell. Target gives them all of their like leftover stuff. I don't leftovers, but stuff that doesn't sell.
Right, oversized.
I literally buy my paper towels, toilet paper, kids' vitamins, toothpaste, everything. I'm like, when we go to Walmart, I'm like, I'm not paying that. I can go to Dirt Cheap and get it for $2. So yeah, I've even got as bad as that, where I'm like, no,
But that, I mean, it's so good to be able to do things like that because you save on your bottom line so much. As long as, what I've realized is, as long as you do something with that savings that is productive and not just let it kind of absorb and you spend it on something else that's not helpful. Like if you saved on groceries but then spent it on eating out all the time, or if you saved on groceries but then spent it on clothes all the time, then it's not really a savings. But if you saved on groceries and saved it, or you needed to save on groceries so you could pay all of your bills, then that's productive. But when you save to just splurge elsewhere, I don't know how helpful that is. But everybody spends their money however they want. So,
and I used to not be like this, like like super
frugal.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, let's go shopping, and I will, you know, obviously I pay full retail, and now I'm no, not happening, not doing it. Like even like, and my friends are like, oh, well, do you want to come over and look at my closet? Do you want my clothes? I'm like, yes, I do, thank you. Like, because I was like, I'm not paying for clothes anymore. I mean, I do, but like thrift store.
I don't know. I think a lot of it came from like the last economic catastrophe in like 07, 8, not whenever that all was, 9, I don't know. When that happened, that was a big cultural shift, I think. And people, there are always going to be people that are frugal and do coupons, but then it kind of like saving blogs, it came, you know, there were shows about it, you know, like it became more in like the mainstream to be frugal and cool. And I think with bloggers and YouTube and stuff like that, people followed that. So then there were communities around that. And so like the stigma kind of went away. And so it was cool to like do that. I mean, I think it's cool. I don't know. Maybe it's not actually cool. My world is cool.
Yeah, I think we're cool.
So I do want to ask you, because I don't know that it's ever come up, where you said that you were on Poshmark as a buyer before you were a seller. And it's funny because I've always wanted to talk to a buyer and like pick the brain and like, or like get certain, like, I think there was one girl that was in one of the Poshmark Facebook groups that would do surveys, but I never really actually found her. She might've had a blog. I don't really know, but I meant to look into it at some point, like to just find out, like, I never went on Poshmark to be a buyer. I only went on to be a seller. And so, and I have bought a handful of things, not as much as I should, because I'm obviously thrifting. So I'm not going to necessarily buy it from you unless it's so specific of a thing that I'm looking for.
That has changed for me since buying.
Right.
Since I started buying, and now when I buy now.
Yeah.
My mind has totally changed.
Right, exactly. So I'm just curious, as a buyer, like, now that you're a seller, do you have any insights or things that you think of, like, I sell a certain way because I remember being a buyer, or you had some horror stories as a buyer that now make you do things differently as a seller? I'm just really curious because it's such a unique perspective.
For me, I will tell you, I bought, what was one of the first things? Okay, one of the first things I bought was a pair of jeans, and they came really nicely packed. Because I feel like when somebody opens a package, you want them to know, okay, it looks good. Because, the first thing you see out of the gate,
right.
One of the things I bought, and I can't remember what it was right now, and I should know, but I don't. It was just like thrown in the box.
Right.
And for me, I was just like, you can take a little bit of extra time, wrap it up, tissue paper. You can buy tissue paper from Dollar Tree, wrap it up, and send it in a box. Don't feel like somebody just threw it in there.
Right. So wait, so your very first thing that you bought was the jeans. And the jeans came
those were great.
In a plastic, like one of these things, like a plastic bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So they came in the plastic bag, but it didn't have any free gift. It didn't have any cutesy stuff. It was just the jeans in a plastic bag. Did it have a thank you card in there?
No, just the jeans. But
in a plastic bag, and you were fine with that. You're like, she cared for the item. She sent it to me. It's what I wanted. I'm good.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, had you bought those, sorry, I'm gonna really grill you now. Did you already know that you wanted that specific kind, like you had those exact pair of jeans before and you just wanted another pair? Or were you like, I want a pair of jeans and I'm going to kind of hope that they fit? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, because I felt like I always wanted a pair. I can't remember the name right now. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm more concerned about the process than what it actually was and like your mindset. That's all.
But I always wanted that certain brand of jeans. And
like
obviously
nice high end and wasn't going to pay full price. So you wanted to treat yourself that way. Okay.
Yeah. And so I found them and I bought them, loved them. And it was for a great price too. So I was like, oh, this is really great.
But as far as, I guess my question sometimes is about measurements. If you've watched the channel or for those that are watching, no, I'm like, I really don't want to do measurements. Like I really want to not do measurements, but I just can't get there because I feel like there are those people that won't buy without knowing for sure that it's going to fit, especially on Poshmark when you can't return it because it didn't fit or whatever. So I'm just kind of curious as to like how many buyers are actually looking and they know what they want and me putting the measurements doesn't matter, or they really rely on it. And it could be a 50-50, we won't know. I'm just kind of curious because I have you here to be like, no, I did check measurements. No, there weren't, if you remember, or you knew exactly what there was new to you.
There was no measurements.
Okay.
But I knew that I wore between a size 7 and 10, depending on the like stretch.
Right.
And so I just bought them.
Okay.
But so I personally, with you, I hate measurements.
Right.
Because most of the time when people ask for measurements, they don't even buy it anyway.
No.
Like,
and it could be because they ask, they find out, and then it doesn't work. But I think most of the time it's people are just, crazy a little bit. I know people don't, I've gotten not a lot, but I've had a few people comment back to me like, you shouldn't talk about your buyers that way. And I'm like, it's just a general observation and my personal opinion about, people in general.
Just a general opinion,
All people, it's not just buyers. All people are just a little crazy.
We all are. And if you say you're not a little bit, then I think there's something wrong with you. I mean, we all are. We all have our moments.
Right. Everybody's got something. So, okay. So you buy the jeans and they worked out.
Yes.
Okay. Had they not worked out and not fit, would you have known at that time that you could have resold them, or you would have been just like, oh, I'm out my $50, or?
I would take them to my little consignment store up the street and been, somebody else could have bought them.
Right.
And I made that.
Yeah, because I've mentioned that to people before when they ask them. I'm like, if it doesn't work out, you can always sell them to someone else for the same price or maybe even more. You never know. Or take them somewhere. And I do suggest that. And I never know if it like makes people upset. But okay, so that was a good experience. But then the next one, you bought the whatever other thing and they just threw it in the box and that turned you off because
I just felt like, if you're selling and you're providing a service to someone, that's my mindset now. They're buying from me. I need to, at least when they open the box, make them feel like, oh, wow.
So
thank goodness.
What do your packages look like? What do you do?
I wrap it in tissue paper. I just buy tissue paper from Dollar Tree, or I find the big ones at TJ Maxx on the clearance, the white one, and I get it and I wrap it up. And then now I found on Amazon there is you can buy the big pack of earrings in bulk for like $11. It comes with, it's huge pack, and I just throw in a pair of those. Thank you, and I just send it off.
You guys, you have thank you cards. You put in a free gift and you wrap it in tissue paper.
Yeah, because I feel like everybody loves a little surprise.
Well, I know. I mean, here's the thing. I'm good because I was there. I did that, and I also sold for a while on an app called Totspot, which was just kids' clothes. That's where I started, and then it was bought by Poshmark, and that's how I got on Poshmark. And with Totspot, it was very much about the cutesy package, and you put in some stickers, you put in a little pencil or a little pom-pom or nonsense for the little kids or whatever, and you obviously had to be mindful, was it a boy or a girl? Don't stick the dinosaur stuff for the girl.
That was harder for me, I think.
Anyway, so I did all of that. I ordered all these things, had all this stuff. Then when I went to Poshmark, I don't even remember what my free gifts were, chapstick or I did put things in, but now I don't even remember what I used to put in. And I did tissue paper and all of that. But then as you get more sales per day, and as a reselling mom, you're trying to get shipping out before you get the kids to school and all of that.
Yes.
That's kind of crazy. And then as your inventory grows, you realize you can't just throw things in a bin and say, this is jeans. Because now you have 5 bins of jeans, and you can't go through every jeans in your bin or 5 bins. You have to have, things with numbers and stuff.
And I'm working on getting more organized.
No, I'm saying this more for generally everybody, because there are all sorts of different stages of people. I don't know, actually, the people that watch my show, what stages they're at. I'm always curious. So let me know in the comments below. Are you a new seller? Are you an experienced seller? I would love to know, actually, because I like to make content for what I know. But like I said, I forgot what free gifts I used to put in. I know I did it, but who the heck knows what I did in there? I mean, and Gio was probably just around sleeping through the night, so I was probably still half in a sleep deprived stupor, and who knows what I was throwing in those things. But and
sometimes I forget. I forget. I'm like, well,
and I think there's schools of thought that develop within the reselling community. You'll see it in the Facebook groups of people that are like, what free gift should I put in? You have all the people like, don't put in a free gift, it ruins it for everybody, because not everybody does it, and then people get crazy about it. So you do whatever works for you. From the past almost now almost 4 years, I can say that at different stages different things work better. And when you're only sending out a couple sales a day, you can do all of that stuff. But when you get to 10 and 15 and even 20, I won't say I averaged at 20, I probably averaged at 15 for a good period of time, sales per day.
I would love that.
And you'll get there. You keep plugging along and you'll get there. But you can't do that. One, the cost gets prohibitive because it does all add up. And 2, it's more of a time thing to sit there and wrap up with the tissue paper and stick in the thing. And then you got to make sure you're ordering it and make sure you have it all in stock and the earrings and whatever. And honestly, there are people that say I just toss that. So I don't want her earrings. And I'm not, I'm not saying, or I don't want that chapstick. I don't even wear, use chapstick or whatever it is. So then all your good intentions just ended up in the garbage can. Yeah. Where you said as a buyer, I was just happy that it arrived clean and presentable and in a bag, so it was protected. And that's kind of where I ended up. Was all I care about is folding it nicely, putting it in the bag, hope it kind of doesn't get jostled up so much that it doesn't look like total hell when it gets there. Yeah. And, I've gotten away now from the thank you card for time. I'll probably go back to it, but for right now I'm going to see what happens. I have enough reviews. I'm not too worried about the 5-star feedback right now. We'll see how it goes. And I know that's cocky, but they throw this out too.
Yeah,
it's not like they put this on their refrigerator. So.
Right. That is true. They probably just toss it with the earrings.
Yeah. So I'm testing it out to see. So that's why I say I'm very interested in those experiences that you had as a buyer. And I think it's hopefully, let me know in the comments below, people that are watching, if that was helpful, because I think we kind of knew it, but it's nice to hear that you weren't necessarily expecting someone to send you all the goodies, because when you order from Target,
I didn't even think about that. When you order online, I mean, think about it. When you order something online, do stores send you something? No. So when I got it, it was clean in the bag. It was great. That's what I expected. Loved it. I wasn't expecting anything else. I was happy with the purchase the way it was.
Right.
But when, you order something and it's just kind of thrown in there, it kind of just turns you off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but to each his own, everybody has.
And for the people that it brings them, I will say I did enjoy doing the wrapping a little bit, like putting a couple of items and wrapping it in a bundle with ribbon or something. That was nice. Not so much the tissue paper. I was always kind of annoyed with the tissue paper because you'd fold it and just never looked right. And then what if it ripped?
It tears.
Yeah, it tears. And you're like, if I leave it like this, it's never going to look like this when the person gets there. It's going to have all shuffled around and it's probably going to arrive ripped anyway. So I got rid of the tissue paper very early on. But it was nice because I was putting a little bit of love and thought and care, and hopefully that person, when they received it, felt that. And that's what's nice about buying from people and not big giant stores.
Yes.
So I'm not opposed to, even in the future, at least in my business, just to kind of put out there for the record, of going back to something like that. But I would probably do it where I was either selling way more expensive things where it was really worth it to do it. Because for a $10 item, I'm not spending 4 minutes doing that.
Yes.
And, or it was like a replenishable where I could kind of pre-do it while I was watching TV a little bit, pre-package some up ahead of time because it's all the same top and I'm just selling them in different sizes or, maybe something like that, in the future. But for right now, when you want to make a full-time thing of it and you are getting more sales per day, I would really be curious when you're doing that, how many, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many sales are you doing on average now per day?
I would say sometimes 0. I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes 0.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I'll do maybe 2 or 3 a day.
Okay.
And that's, I mean, that's not a lot. And sometimes it is 0, but I just keep sharing and keep moving forward.
We all are starting somewhere and you have to build up to, you have 600 all-time listings in your closet. So that accounts for your sold. So I don't know how many active do you have?
I think I have about 300 active.
Yeah. So, you can't, unless you have the most primo, spot on demand, on trend, right priced item in your store, which is the holy grail, you can't expect to be selling 15 a day when you have 300 listings. It takes time to build that up.
Yeah.
And
I know it's always like this too. You know what I mean? Like up, down, up, down, up, down.
Right.
So those days that I'm just like, well, hey, just keep plugging away and keep moving forward. Absolutely. And it'll get there.
Absolutely. What are some of your, you've been doing it about a year. What are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to keep it small and just kind of plug along like you're doing? And if it grows, it grows. Or do you have big, high goals?
I want to get bigger.
Okay.
My ultimate goal is I want to get bigger. Mm-hmm. I also substitute teach in our area. So
that's great.
And so it's hard some days when I sub to go sourcing.
Right.
But I do try to go at least. Honestly, I'd like to go every day, but it's not going to happen.
That's I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was talking in another Momversations about, I don't remember now, but she had a flexible job along with, being a reseller. So she wasn't a full-time reseller. She was a part-time reseller and had kind of like a part-time flexible, I don't remember what it was. And we talked about how that's kind of awesome because you don't have to completely rely on reselling to pay everything just in case, it's not so good one month or whatever. Right. But then you don't have to be totally in the 9-to-5 awful thing of having a real job.
Yeah, because
the best of both worlds. Substituting is a great combo.
It's amazing because my dad picks my youngest son up from school. I'm out of school. When he gets out of school, it takes me 10 minutes to get to my dad's house and I pick him up.
Right.
So, I haven't missed anything. I haven't missed much.
Right.
So it's nice. Because when
Okay.
I was
How'd you get to do that? Were you in teaching before, or you
I actually was not.
Okay.
I just thought about it, and I like kids. And that sounds bad. But I like older kids. So most of the time I do middle school and high school.
Uh-huh.
I know that sounded really bad.
That's so something I would say. Like I would totally say that's why I'm laughing, because I'm surprised that I didn't say those.
I like kids.
That's great.
Like my own kids.
Right.
But
I love it.
like older children, so middle school and high school,
Mm-hmm.
because they're kind of like more relatable.
Yeah.
Because I remember what I was like in high school. Lord knows.
Right.
So it's just fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to know the kids.
Yeah.
But smaller kids, like I couldn't imagine having 30 Gabes in a day. No, this is not. I'm not doing it no more.
I get agita. We're Italian, so you get agita right here. You get agita. When I bring Gio to his little preschool, because I see them and they are, they're hugging on the kids and kissing on the kids, and they welcome everybody in at drop off, and who's crying still, and who's just playing okay, and who's like doing spins in the corner for no reason, and like they're 4, so they're, and I'm just like, I don't know how, like, oh, I am so grateful for the people that are like preschool teachers. And then, when I get to elementary and I see Gio in that environment, I'll probably be super grateful for them too. Because I'm like, how you could deal with all of these kids. And like, if you gave me 30 adults in a room, like, that's fine. I have no problem dealing with all those jokers. But like, the kids scare the crap out of me. Oh my God. Like,
well, every time I go to Gabe's teacher, I'm like, just so you know, you God sent, because I don't see how you do it.
Yeah.
I went to make Thanksgiving shirts. I went to make Thanksgiving shirts with them, and I had to like help each of them paint the shirts. And I was sitting there going, "Oh my gosh." Okay.
Yeah.
They tell me something, and I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Okay." In the back of my mind, I'm going, "Oh my gosh, how many more shirts do we have left?"
Yeah, I love playing with Gio, but certain things, because Gio's, strong-willed just like me, and my husband too, and so he likes to micromanage how other people play with him, which I do not enjoy. And I tell him all the time, it's not nice to tell other people how to play, because we all have our own imaginations and can play however we want. So like when we're building, magnetic towers, or like my new adult coloring book. I never did the adult coloring book, but I could see why people do that, because I like magnetic building. Like, that's my jam. Like, we're into that right now. And, it's very relaxing to do. And he makes his tower and I make my tower. But when he starts getting all up in my tower and like telling me what to do, I get very, I'm like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Like, this is no fun. So I think it's interesting, because depending on what you're playing with these ones, and I'm sure, the age and whatever, but like, it can be more or less fun.
Yeah, Gabe sounds a lot like Gio. Gio sounds a lot like Gabe, because he is Mr. Bossy. He wants to tell you how to do it and what to do and how to do it. And if you don't do it his way, you're out.
That's surprising to me for a second child. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. But I am always curious about the oldest and the youngest and that order of things. And it always seems like the second ones are, like you said before, like the free spirit, and they're just a little like wild and stuff. And they may be the rebellious one. And the first one's like, I'm going to follow the rules. I'm going to, be the leader, and, kind of like.
That's my oldest son.
Yeah.
He's very much like that. Like, I don't want.
Yeah, because I'm the oldest, so that's
I don't want to disappoint you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna, make you proud. Do this and do that and do that.
Right.
And Gabe's just like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care at all.
Maybe they figure by the second one, maybe we acted like, we gave up on them a little bit, because it's the second time around. So like, I'm not gonna be bothered with it. I don't know. I don't have, and I won't have a second. I'll have as many dogs as God will give me, but I don't work it
first. There probably wouldn't have been a second.
Right.
Trent was like the angel child, perfect baby. So I was like, oh, this is so great. I'll have a second one. And
do it again. See, and that's awesome. And I think that's how most people think and why most people end up with the second kid. For me, I was like, that was perfect. I'm not going to rock the boat. Like, I'm not going to do it again just on the off chance that the second one comes out nuts. Like, I'm not going to tell you. It sounds like I have not faith, but I do have faith, but I just still didn't want to rock the boat.
I don't blame you, like, at all.
Yeah. I think, plus two, if you have a business, they talk about, how it's your child and your baby. And I do think if I didn't have this business, I probably would have been more open to a second child, I think. But that's not me. Like, the business is probably more an extension of me and me being true to myself than having a second. So I'm cool with that. And Gio, gets to see it all, and he likes to do his busy work when mommy's doing her busy work, and he's going to get a lot out of it. And I just have to be okay with that, and that.
I love that they get to watch us.
This is your play partner.
Yeah, I love that they get to watch us do something for us.
Yeah.
Like, and get to see what we do.
Yeah. I mean, and I've talked about it with a lot of the moms, but we always find a different way to analyze it. Like, and so it's about all the cool things I can teach you and all the cool things that you're going to get to see. But at the same time, like you just said, doing something for yourself, I'm big on when kids have a stay-at-home mom and you have those traditional roles, that they're only going to know what traditional roles are and all the limiting beliefs that can go along with those traditional roles, even if it's the mom's choice, even if it wasn't like, oh, well, you can only do this because you have to be home barefoot.
Right.
Like, even if it was your choice to do it. And that's what's great about being able to make those choices. But I do think it's important for Gio to know that moms work, moms can own a business. I think the other day was the first time I said, well, mommy owns a business. He's like, you own a business? I said, yes. I said, mom, because we call it the boutique. So he's like, items for your boutique. Did you get any sales in your boutique? So I don't know that he ever really heard me say it, a business. Mm-hmm. And so he was asking me, well, what do you mean you own it? I said, well, mommy had an idea and then she did things to make that idea come true. Now I have a business and I give other people jobs. And, I was trying to explain it. He's 4. But, being able to provide that example of like, that's what fulfills me. That's my choice. It may not be traditional or whatever, but that's what worked for me, to give him the freedom to pursue whatever he wants in his life that's going to make him tick, whatever that may be. And, like you say, do something for yourself, or just see that there's other options. And what hard work actually looks like, because when you go off to work, they don't get to see you working hard, Like, he doesn't get to see my husband being a salesperson selling people homes. He just knows that he asks daddy when he comes home, did you sell a house today?
Yeah.
He says yes or no.
And also too, I want them to see that just because I don't work a 9-to-5 job doesn't mean I don't have a job. Like, I tell my kids that all the time. They're like, oh, well, sometimes like, oh, you stay home. And I'm like, okay, what else do I do?
Right.
So it's nice for them to see that, you can juggle all these things and do all these things.
Right.
And you don't have to be stuck inside a 9-to-5 bubble, which if that's what you do, that is fine. I praise people that resell and work.
Oh yeah.
Like a 9-to-5 job.
I don't know how. Yeah.
I don't either. Like, that's amazing, because I look at my schedule that I had and I don't think that I could have done it. I don't. I may have surprised myself, but.
Right. Well, and there are jobs, there's some people that I know that have a job, but their job isn't always busy and they have a lot of downtime at their job. And that is foreign to me, because I work like an animal at all of my jobs. And that could have just been my fault, because I work like an animal in my business. So that could just be me. I don't know. But, that you have a job where there's downtime. And then I could possibly see, well, if you need to fill up your mental self, throughout the day, where you have this downtime and you can do a quick listing, or you could share a few items or something, then that's great. Or if you have a flexible job where you could hit up a thrift store on the way home and then you go finish working from home for your job, or, like you said, like I said, substituting. I mean, I don't know, but I may consider that actually. Like once Gio's in full-time school, that would be great to kind of know you have a legit something dependable, and you can choose. You can choose if they call you that morning. Yes, I want to go in. No, I don't want to go in, or whatever. Like that's the ultimate, you know. That's great.
When the teachers get to know you,
yeah.
Like all of them, they text me, "Can you come in? Or can you work for me?"
Yeah, because my mom was a teacher for 38 years, and now she substitutes and she builds those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
She had her favorites. I mean, as a teacher's kid, I knew all the subs that were her favorite because she'd talk about them and whatever. So yeah, they totally know who they want and request, which is awesome. So
and you get off at 3:00. Well, that still gives you plenty of time to
absolutely
to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time when I sub, I don't go thrifting. I'll be, that day.
Yeah,
but
it puts on your feet and stuff too. So.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time I try not to sub on Fridays because Fridays are like my main day that I try to go out and source, get stuff, and try to just list throughout the week. I try really.
Right.
I try.
You do about one big sourcing day, if that gets you enough stuff, and then you do it throughout. And about how many listings do you put up a day, would you say?
I honestly
or does it totally change?
It's totally changed. When I first started, I wanted to list everything at one time and get it up, and now I try to like list either probably 5 to 7 items a day.
Oh, great.
That's my goal.
Great.
But, sometimes
it
don't go.
Right. No, but I think that's a great number, especially if you're having about 2 to 3 sales a day. That's good. You're almost even. And if you're trying to grow, you don't want to be even because everything you list will sell. So, numbers wise, you will be growing if that's where you're at. So that's probably very good. And, then you can choose over time to change it how you want. But yeah, I mean, I only do 5 to 10. I mean, either I'm at 5 or I'm at 10. I like, 5 or 10. I would never do 7. That would be, I don't think I could sit well with 7 listings a day. I would feel very uncomfortable with that. 5 or 10. But yeah, and I throttle it back and forth. If I know that it's going to be busy, I'll tell and again, I have the VA to help, but, I'll tell her, okay, let's just do 5 a day, or no, let's push it back up to 10 a day. And she kind of throttles a little bit.
Yeah. How many times well, I know you have a VA, but how many times did you share or do you share your closet? Like, that's always a huge thing to me because I see some say, well, I share all the time, and then I share 3 times. And
it's changed over time. When you have less items, you can obviously share more in the same time it would take to share a large closet. So in the beginning, I would just share as constantly as I could. And it was something I could easily do from my phone, especially when Gio was little. And so I probably shared a lot more. Now that I have a bigger closet, I mean, it would take at least an hour to share the entire thing from bottom to top. And I like to keep the women's at the top and the men's in the middle and the kids at the bottom. And I don't do any kind of categories within that, but I just like women's on the top, then men's, then kids. I don't know. But I had a person remotely share for me very early on. And so I've had someone doing that for me for a long time. But even though I'm paying them to do it, I still go on whenever I get a minute and share a few items. If I have some boutique items that I really want to push, I'll go in and just share the boutique items real quick. Or if I'm stopped at a light, I'll do quick share bursts and just share as many as I can while I'm stopped at a traffic light, when I'm watching TV, just for the heck of it. But when you have a VA and you have them scheduled at a time to help you, then obviously you don't want to go monkeying around when they're doing it. That doesn't make sense. So I have somebody share at 7 in the morning Eastern, and then 2, and then 9:30, give or take. So that way they could start with kids and men, and then the women's would end up over the party. So right now I'm at 3 times a day, but I've had it as many as 6 times a day. And I didn't really feel like that helped that much more for the amount I was paying for it to be done. If you're doing it yourself, then share as much as you can. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Do it as much as possible. But if you're paying someone, I think that 3, 5 max. But I always say 3 to 5 because at one point I had like 2,000 items in my basket. Now I have way less. But that was over time. I mean, it
Right.
accumulated over time. And there was a point when I was doing it with my sister that we were putting up 20 listings a day, but that was between the two of us together in one closet. Now that it's just everything me, you know, except for the VA, 5 to 10 is about all I can manage at this time. And then the sharing, you know, about 3 times a day plus random share bursts. And I think that covers your bases. I think it's more about that you space out the shares throughout the day. Because if you share at 7, you share at 10, and then you don't share again till 10 at night, you've got a big afternoon window that other people's stuff is higher than yours. So
Right.
if you at least space it out throughout the day kind of evenly, I think you have more of a chance.
Like usually I wish I could say I do at 7, but 7's just a hard time for our family.
Okay, yeah.
I like 8.
Well, and that's why I have the VA. It's not me doing it, and that's what's great.
Okay.
7 a.m. is hard for me too, and life is all happening and getting the kids off to school. So someone else is sharing for me at 7.
Yeah,
and I get up super early, so someone else is sharing for me at 9 at night when I'm brain dead and falling asleep on the couch. That's not me. So that's, you know, something to consider.
That is, because most of the time I don't share till 8.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get Gabe to school, come back home, share.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of the time I don't share till like 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to share at like 4:35.
Mm-hmm.
And then share it like, you know, I just really share about 4 times a day.
Okay. And you're Central or Eastern?
Central.
No. Central. Okay. So 8 your time. Oh, but 8 your time is 9 my.
So see, I try to just do it when I know people are like on their lunch break,
right,
or getting off work, or they're off work. Or
I will say that I get a lot of activity in the morning, a lot of offers in the morning, a lot of activity in the morning, and so I would encourage you, if you could get a helper of some kind to share for you at 7, and just try that one time as a replacement, perhaps.
Okay.
And I mean, you didn't ask for my advice, but I'm giving it because that's what I do. But if I just, I just insert my opinion wherever. But because I think that 7 has been a great time, you know, and I have toyed with that a little bit, a little earlier, a little later, and I just feel like there's a lot of activity right in the morning. I don't know if people, I don't know, maybe it's offers you sent out last night, they were already in bed or they were doing stuff, and then they see it and they accept it right when they wake up as they're checking their phone. I don't know what is the behavior of that person that is buying, but 7 has always been really helpful.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Just, I mean, test, you know, see if you can get a family friend, or, you know, somebody that you could just say, hey, can you help me out for a week and do this at 7 a.m.?
Yeah, because I mean, most of the time, I mean, I probably could set my alarm and do it, but I don't trust myself enough to set an alarm and get up and do it. That's bad, ain't it? Most of the time when my alarm goes off, I'm like, no.
You're still sleeping at 7 a.m.?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not. I'm getting Gabe ready, and it's so nuts because he's like,
right. No, the kids I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids I get. Yeah.
But if I got up a little bit earlier and started sharing, that way when at 7 it's done, and I can continue.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going,
just do a challenge to, like, next week for 1 week. I'm gonna do it, and just try and just see. Like, I'm just really curious, and then let me know. I'm just curious.
No, I'm gonna do it.
It's been a long time since I could really, like, do something so drastically different where I feel like it would make a huge impact in my business. Like free shipping, not free shipping, things like that. Yes, make a big, but like the number of times I share, I don't really feel like it makes that much of an impact on my business anymore. It's all kind of running. I mean, it's not running to a crazy degree.
Right.
That's due to the number of listings, and that's not going to change. But, you know, I feel like I'm just kind of rolling along kind of steady. But for you, where you have some real chances with number of listings or even an extra share or an earlier share or something, really feel like you could probably make a big impact. I mean, I don't know, but.
Well, I'm going to do it. Now that you said I'm going to do it, and let you know if there's any change.
It would be really cool. Like, because you're on Instagram, so you do it. And then I don't know when this is going to go live. So maybe I'll tell you later. And then,
okay.
Then that way people could have watched this, and then they can follow you on Instagram and then see what happened.
Yes.
Really cool.
I'm going to do it.
That will be our first very official challenge.
Yeah, because I want to, like, now that you said it, I'm like, ooh.
challenges. I love stuff like that because it gets boring, like if you don't do something that's going to make it kind of interesting, it does get really boring after a while. But I find that like,
repetitive.
Yeah, it's repetitive. And I'm very competitive, but I found that I'm not always, I'm a little competitive with myself. I'm more competitive with other people. Like what I would, so we'll do something. Cause what I would love, if you've been on like other apps, not reselling apps, but like savings apps or things like that. Some of them have like leaderboards where they rank everybody according to how many points they have. Like that stuff gets me going. Like I'm like, I need to be at least in the top 10 of millions of people. And I think I'm going to do it. And I'm like, Poshmark should have leaderboards where you could be like, where you could see who has the most followers, who has the most listings, who's the biggest store on Poshmark, who's made the most money. I'm sure I know why they do it is they don't want to create a lot of stuff because what I found on Poshmark is that there are professional people and then there are not professional people. And there are, there's good and bad in everything. And I've gotten lots of good and lots of good experiences. And then I've got lots of very unprofessional, not courteous back from people, whether it's a case or just comments or questions. A lot of people, manners. Yeah, that's the word. Like people don't have manners. They think because it's the internet that they don't have to have a level of humanity or something. Yeah. And so I would wonder that if they were to put things out there like that there would be a lot of like
bickering,
fighting. Yeah. I hate to, classify because it's obviously primarily women and that kind of thing. And I don't mean to do that. And I wish it wasn't like that, but we can't lie to ourselves and say that there's not an element of that. And
just like cat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, for the people that would really benefit from seeing what's possible and what you could strive toward and let that motivate them, I think that would be amazing. That's what it would do for me. But for someone else, it could make them feel bad. It could stress them out or it could, cause drama. So I guess that's why they probably wouldn't, but.
I wish they would.
It'd be so cool.
Like even, I know I'm just like you because my son on his tablet, he has Plants vs. Zombies. He don't play it. I play it so I can get the leaderboards. It'd be like, I'm at the top. I got the gold or,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the same way. I'm like, I want to know.
And I think it takes, not all entrepreneurs or anyone that is I wouldn't even say that every reseller is an entrepreneur because some resellers don't want to make a business. Some resellers just want to do their own thing and have their own job. And I don't really classify that as being an entrepreneur myself. I think that's creating your own job and that's good. And then there's people that want to make a business to have for themselves and then provide jobs for other people. And that's what I think a business is and what an entrepreneur is. That's just my opinion. But I think that there's got to be some of that in those groups of people of competitiveness. And it may not even be competitive. It may just be like self-initiative and self-starting and that like you can't help yourself. You have to do like you have to try harder because otherwise you wouldn't be successful in doing your own thing. You would be someone that works for someone else, which is fine, but you're following along what they tell you to do and everything's very set.
I think healthy competitiveness word
That's okay.
is healthy.
Yeah.
Because you strive to want to be better.
Right.
Like you want to have a goal and be something.
Right.
If not, I feel like you're just stagnant. Like you're just okay.
That's good the way I feel as a competitive person. However, my husband, who is not competitive, I don't know if he has a competitive bone in his body, sees it as you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be satisfied. And sometimes he says, you're not very grateful for what you have because you're always trying to find more. And I'm like, yes, but, he
has a point.
But I don't agree because I am grateful that I have this. But guess what? I know that I could have this if I just did this, this, and this. Yes. And why not? Why wouldn't I try? you know, and so I see it as a positive thing, but I do think that there's a thing out there, sets of people that are just like, you're not grateful, you're never going to be happy. And part of it's true.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, but as me and you are a lot alike, I'm like, yes, but, you know.
Right. I don't see content as being like necessarily a good thing. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I feel like if you don't move forward and try to be
right, like the people that say you'll sleep when you're dead.
Well,
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I come from a very competitive family, even playing cards. So it's like we want to win. We don't accept. I know this is gonna sound bad, but I don't like losing.
Right.
I don't like.
Right.
Like, when I win, I'm gonna be like, I won. You know, obviously, I wouldn't do that with like if we were playing cards. I wouldn't be like in your face or whatever.
You could.
But
I do it to you too.
But like with my family, I mean, with you, if we were playing cards, we probably would. We'd be like,
right. Well, you know who you can egg on and who you feel comfortable with and that kind of thing. I see it in Gio a little bit. And so now the main thing is trying to show him, like, we tell him you win some, you lose some. So we kind of make him say that again, like, have that be the little voice in his head, like you win some, you lose some, you know, because I don't know if you watch Gary Vaynerchuk and any of his YouTube content, like a big social media business guy. And I'm obsessed with him and I watch everything that he has. And he always say how he doesn't let his kids win at anything. Like he dunks on his son, like he's not going to let them ever win. And I believe that. And I would do the same with Gio within reason a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there is a generation out there that has had padded walls and don't necessarily know what it's like to lose and that you can overcome losing. And I think, you know, without needing to know my entire thoughts on all of society, you know, like I think that is what a parent did to a child. And I'm not saying it's bad. They did the best they could. They didn't know. But I see that as something that is a problem. If you're a parent and do not create the conditions for losing and failure to be okay for your child, when they grow up, they won't know how to deal with those inevitable failures and losses. And that's what leads to so much heartache in this world and bullying and suicide and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I tell my kids just like you. I'm like, look, you win some, you lose some. That's just the way it is. The world is not going to take it easy on you just because you feel like you can't take it.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, the world is going to blow up just because you can't take it. It's just,
my mom. Go ahead.
And I don't. Sorry, people, but I don't like participation trophies. I don't feel like you get a trophy just for playing.
Right.
If your team didn't win and your team wasn't the best, well.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. I mean, you know, like a certificate, that's fine. But
you know. Yeah.
But yeah, my mom the other day was over for dinner and she said something to Gio, I don't remember what, something like, your mommy's as strict as my mommy was. And that's saying that I was as, you know, strict of a parent as my mom was. So that means my grandma, who at this point would be, I don't know, 100 or 90 something, you know, like that generation of person that was like, go outside and play and don't come back until it's dark. Like, you know, super hardcore parent kind of thing. And it's funny because I don't think my mom she was a little bit, but it was funny to hear her describe me like her mom. So something was like funny there where she was just like, your mom is as strict as my mom, which meant to say that she wasn't that strict, right? Because otherwise she would have said, your mom was strict like me. And she didn't. She said like my mom. So that just happened last night. I'm still kind of processing through what all that meant because I take it as a compliment actually, like, because it takes a lot to be a strict parent. And in this world of everybody judging you and being all up in your beeswax, you know, and strict parent doesn't mean that you like beat your kids or something. It means that you have the fortitude not to let them run over you like a Mack truck. So,
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't do it all the time.
No.
Right? Like do it as best as you can that you have energy for that day.
My dad was extremely strict on me. My mom, not so much. But my dad now with my kids is totally different than he was with me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's fine, it's whatever. And I'm sitting there going,
you never let me do that.
where were you when I was a kid? Because this is not the man that raised me.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So with the kids, he's like, oh, it's a fine thing to do. It's fine. Oh, yeah, I'll buy it. You know. So, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. You know what? I'm just looking down. I just like glanced over. We're at over an hour, which I think has only happened one other time. And the thing is, like, in the beginning, I remember the first one was like 36 minutes or something. I was like, oh my God, I went over 30 minutes. I feel bad because I know we're all busy moms, and obviously I want to be mindful of your time. But also the moms watching as well, because like, I never take your time for granted. If you're watching, I appreciate it. And I can never expect that you have just an hour to just spend with me. Yeah. So, I definitely don't want to take advantage. So even though I'm really enjoying our conversation, I've said this with other guests, but I would love to have you back again. Maybe
I would love to
share a challenge or something like that. And then you can tell us how it went. But this has been so fun. And it just really hits home how nice it is to connect with other resellers, how important it is to connect with other resellers, and in our particular situation on this show, reseller moms, because even though our situation is different, we've got different walks of life and we're at different seasons, there's still lots of commonalities. And you're in Alabama and I'm here, and like you've got two boys, I've got, like, there's so many differences, but at the same time, we're literally on parallel paths. And for those that are watching at home, there's going to be people that totally agree with lots of things. There's going to be people that are like, no, those girls are crazy, and put it in the comments. But like, it's just nice to be able to have those opportunities to connect, and why the reselling community is great. So tell everyone any, kind of last thoughts, comments that you'd like to leave them with for having been here and for where you're at in your reselling mom journey.
I will say this. I was extremely nervous, at first coming on here, but I've loved it.
You did absolutely great.
But I've loved it. I really hope you have me on again, because I've really enjoyed it. I don't get to do this often, so I've really enjoyed it.
You can do it anytime yourself. You can start your own YouTube channel. You can go live on Instagram. See, I never really go live on Instagram or do any, I don't know. This is better for me, but anyone can have those conversations with anyone else. You just have to decide that it's okay for you to do it.
And you've made me feel so comfortable.
Good.
Like that's a
thing
for me.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank you so much.
Well, and for you and for anyone at home, I've said a million times why I did this, because I felt like while there are great YouTubers out there and great resellers putting YouTube content out there, or YouTubers putting reselling content out there, I didn't feel like anyone was particularly speaking to me at my place in time, even though there are other moms on YouTube that are reselling. I just never felt like it was all about that. And for someone who worked in the corporate world and then decided to stay home and then decided to get into this reselling world, who completely had their identity swashed all around, I needed this. And so I'm doing this as much for me as I am, and hopefully other people get out of it, but it feels so good to me. And so that's my selfish reason. But, it's nice to be able to give you the opportunity to try something, go on a show, go on the internet and talk. Like, that's crazy, like that's
like I would never done this.
Yeah, it's great.
So
it's great.
Thank you.
All right. Tell everybody your Instagram and your Poshmark again. I'll link it below, and then let them get on out of here.
My Instagram is Kristin's_closet with a K. Kristin's Closet, both with a K. 87.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Instagram. And then my Poshmark is Trent's Mom 12.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you again. And to everyone watching, still here after an hour, thank you so much for watching another episode of Reseller Momversations. We put one up every Saturday, so long as I can find someone crazy enough to talk to me beforehand to record it. They go up at 11 a.m. Eastern. I do appreciate it. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you thought about this. We would love to see it. and I respond to all of them. Like this video on your way out and subscribe for more Reseller Mom content. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.